Hey guys, how you doing? Just on my way home from work. Blustery day today, blustery day. Had a huge wind sweep in and knock down a whole bunch of trees. What a day. Oh man, what the heck is banging around in my head? Not a thing, honestly. I really am having one of these days where all of the stress of politics and everything and all that kind of stuff, it just wasn't there. I just was focused on the day and focused on what I was doing. Christmas is coming. Christmas is upon us. I work at a toy store, right? So Christmas is the time. It's the Super Bowl. It's when it's happening. And because of COVID, because of the way that this season has gone, people are getting their shopping in way earlier. People are expecting a lockdown. People are expecting a lockdown at this point. Even a week ago, I would go around and talk to the local business people and ask them, what do you think about a lockdown, all that kind of stuff. And people would be like, I don't know. And there's a lot of that, a lot of skeptical kind of I guess, meh. Now I'm talking to them and they're telling me, no, absolutely, there's going to be a lockdown. They're expecting it. They're seeing it coming. So, and I think the populace is seeing that it's probably in the cards as well. And so they're making all the right decisions and all the moves to get those toys for their children so that the kids at least have Christmas. This has been tough on the kids, man. The kids missed Easter. They've missed all the summer vacations, all the Halloween. They missed Halloween this year. Halloween being really one of those memorable times. I have real good memories as a kid about Halloween. Oh man, I'm coming up on a police car here. There's some tape stretched across the road right before my house. So I don't know if I'll be able to get through this. Hold on, give me a moment here, guys. Oh, wow. Got a little crime scene kind of built in here. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, you see all the flashing lights and everything? I don't think I should hop on through. I want to. Well, I'm going to go around. And avoid any problems. So it'll be a longer walk this time around. Okay. Yeah, the kids, they missed Christmas. They missed all that stuff, man. All the stuff that kids look forward to, And I just feel like parents they're going to be goddamned if their kid misses Christmas. Really, I think that's the case. And I'm even seeing young couples are coming in buying puzzles, right? That's a big sign. Young couples coming in and buying puzzles, they're expecting that lockdown, dude. They're expecting it. And even the absurd dunders who run our government are eventually going to be confronted with the reality that they've got to do it. It's a non-starter for these guys. They have to go into lockdown. Can you imagine if they don't, right? If they don't do it, they're going to be faced down to enormous numbers. 5,000, 6,000 cases a day. It will be the end of the Conservative Party in Ontario if they don't do a lockdown. Mike Harris, when he was a sniveling disaster of a prime minister, of a premier, just like all conservatives are, because they're in it for themselves. They want money for themselves, and that's it. And Mike Harris made a lot of money, the long-term care home scandal that's happening here in Ontario, where the military went in and wrote a real scathing report about the privatized healthcare, long-term healthcare units that were in this city. Mike Harris is the one that's making the money on that, right? Mike Harris is the one that privatized all that. Mike Harris is the one who's got his name. He's the profiteer. He's the plunderer, right? And And Doug Ford's trying to do the same thing. Like, Doug Ford wants free money for nothing. And that's exactly what it is, right? They get free money for no reason whatsoever. And old people suffer for it. That's the long and short of it. And when Mike Harris got ousted, there wasn't another serious conservative challenger for against the Liberals for 20 years. And people wanted to get rid of the Liberals. Like, that's how bad the Conservatives are, is that they couldn't reclaim power from a Liberal Party that alienated the populace for 20 years straight. And finally, people just wanted to get revenge on the Dalton McGuinty era. They were never able to actually oust him. And so his poor Wynne that has to pay for it. Wynne, who I actually think ends up being a pretty favorable prime minister in the end. I keep saying prime minister, I mean premier. So, and if I do think that the Ford administration is already probably on its way out. They're not very popular. They're quite stupid. They don't do a lot. They do a lot to alienate people. But if they and they've already fumbled the ball on COVID. They've already fumbled the ball. So now it's about recovery, right, for them. It's about landing on the ball after they fumbled it. And if they're going to land on the ball, it's to go into lockdowns. But if they get up to 5,000 a day, 6,000 a day cases, they're finished. They're finished. There won't be another conservative government in this province for another 20 years. Because that's just a disaster. Like, that's what that is. It's just a heinous disaster. And, but I mean, that's Doug Ford's entire life. Like, heinous disaster might as well be his nickname. And I think that, so, like, what this means, right? What this means for capitalism. Like, if Ontario, if the nation has to go into lockdown over Christmas, I've been saying this forever. You can go back on my videos and see it, right? Because the capitalists are so short-sighted and so stupid and illiterate, they didn't actually think this through. And they were like, let's ramp up the capitalism machine. But they timed it. The timing was right there. That if you get people back to work, get kids back to school, you're going to experience a second wave right over Christmas. And if capitalism misses Christmas, like, capitalism requires Christmas. So many businesses in so many places, including big, gigantic corporate interests, right? They make their money November, December. That's when they make their money. And if you're telling them that they have to lock down over that period of time, it's going to be a disaster for them. It could be the end of corporate capitalism, simply by the force, by the rules of their own game. But the thing is that people are beginning to see that that's all it is. That it's just a stupid game, right? This, like, idiotic game of collecting money from other people who do the work. You guys have all heard me riff about this. You guys all know what I'm talking about. We do all the work, they do nothing. They take all the money, we get enough to survive. That's how capitalism works. That's what capitalism is. And the game is up. Like, the jig is up. We've entered a period of time now that it's like COVID is a major national security issue. Like, we're looking at an enormous crisis that could get out of our hands very easily. You just need to look down to the States to see what capitalism's done for them. And we could very simply and very easily go down that same path, and it seems like we've chosen it. It seems like we're deciding to go down this path of corporate capitalism instead of actually doing what we need to do to help to help anybody, to help people get through this. And what we could do very easily is direct money at the populace through a basic income, through a support system. We literally could say, pause on rent, pause on property tax, pause on capitalism, pause on this game. I've even heard people say, like, you know what you could do is, so let's say you're paying a mortgage, right? You could just put a pause on the payments that need to be done on the mortgage over this period of time, and then just tack it on to the end. So you just extend the mortgage. So if you have a 10-year mortgage, right? You just pause it so nobody needs to actually pay for this period of time, but then you just tack it on the end. So if it lasts a year, well, your 10-year mortgage is now an 11-year mortgage. And like, that's reasonable. Even though I think the whole system is corrupt and irredeemable, at least that's an idea that is reasonable, right? It's reasonable that after a disaster occurs to say, okay, like, that's a disaster. We all went through it. So here's some compromises, right? But capitalism's not interested in compromise. Capitalism's interested in money for the capitalists and abandonment for the populace, which is exactly what we're experiencing. And so what the Ford administration is just going to do, they are going to end up going into lockdown because they have to. They can't face 5,000, 6,000 cases a day. But they're not going to do anything for small business. They're going to do nothing. They're going to let these places close down. They're going to wipe it all out. And the billionaires are going to come in and pick up more assets, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And then when Ford gets out of office, which is definitely going to happen no matter what he does at this point, he's going to be well compensated by the capitalist class, right? The capitalists are going to reward his loyalty. And it'll be very straightforward and obvious. Just like it was obvious for Harris. Just like it was obvious for all of them, right? They all leave office and then they get these cushy jobs doing nothing. Just basically giving their opinion. And, yeah. I guess that was all banging around in my head, eh? Windy day. I hope the wind didn't mess with the sound, guys. Please leave a comment, actually, on that. If you've made it this far, leave a comment. Say if the wind was bad and it made the video, you couldn't really listen to it. That kind of feedback, I really do try to take into account. And I take risks with windy days, and maybe today I should have just waited till I got inside to do a recording on that one. So please leave that feedback. And as always, like, share, subscribe. I'm almost at 70 people. I'm almost at 70 subscribers. I consider that a bit of a success. This channel is growing and growing slowly, so I'm hoping that someday in my life there'll be enough people here that I can actually maybe make a few pennies off of this. We'll see. Although, who knows, maybe by the time I've got enough where I could actually think about monetizing this, money will be meaningless. We can dream. Okay, guys, I love you all. Good luck out there. Have fun.